Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in a few moments we're going to commence the session 3, last session of today. We would appreciate if you could take a seat and be a part of this session. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? Session 3, the last session of today, will start in 2 minutes. So please take a seat and join the session. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll now commence the PBI Session 3.
Public Broadcasters International Seoul 2018. Welcome to Session 3, UHD TV for the benefit of the public. In this session, we explore some of the finest accomplishments and the latest information about UHD TV. KBS launched the world's first terrestrial 4K UHD TV in 2017 and broadcast the major sports event, the Pyeongchang Winter Olympic Games, in 2018. Currently developing in two directions, 4K and 8K, UHD TV can open up the great possibility of not just providing ultra-high-definition images, but also the opportunity to offer additional services such as broadcast data. How can we harness this new technology for the benefit of the public? This session is composed of 4 speeches and a panel discussion. The first speaker is Mr. Choi Sun-wook, Executive Director of Strategy and Planning of KBS, talking about lessons and challenges of UHD development in public television. Next is Mr. Akihiko Chigono. His speech is titled Mission of 4K, 8K.
Well, I will start anyway. Good afternoon, guys. I'm Sun-wook Choi. I would like to start the story about things. Public service broadcasters are traditionally storytelling organization, right? One of the things I learned at KBS is that if we don't write our story, then someone else write their story for us. I think that it is important for people and organizations represented by public service media to tell their own story about how next generation TV will change what we do. Today, I want to start to tell you KBS part of this new story so that we can write the next chapter together. According to UHD Forum 57, 4K UHD services are available across the 17 countries in the world at the first half of this year. In South Korea, 3 TV major platforms, IPTV, satellite, terrestrial broadcasting, including KBS, have stepped into 4K UHD market. Yes, KBS the first public TV station to nationally broadcast the free-to-air terrestrial UHD TV channels in the world. Our goal is simple. We want to add values to the broadcasting service platform. We want to reach more viewers to more devices. And we want to address the changing consumer behaviors. We adopted the, excuse me. We adopted the UHD with several key features. We chose ATSC 3.0 as a digital terrestrial television system, all IP-based transport, and hybrid broadband and broadcast for UHD with 4K resolution, video and audio. But technology development of UHD is ongoing from now to 8K UHD. I would like to briefly introduce the UHD deployment of KBS. We launched the UHD in May 31, 2017. We have been preparing 4K workflow for in-house production, and we had deployed the UHD transmitter system across the 11 sites in 8 cities and have covered about 60% of the household. KBS 2 UHD TV channel has been broadcasted HD and UHD simultaneously in 6 MHz bandwidth for mobile TV test. Since the spring of 2017, all new 4K UHD TVs and smart TVs sold in South Korea have dual ATSC 3.0, 1.0 capability. We have aggressive plans suggested by UHD broadcasting license, including annual UHD program rate and coverage plan. In this year, 10% of broadcast programming is produced in 4K, and also simulcast HD, ATSC 1.0, and UHD with the same contents for audience protections. In mid-2015, and the Korean government decided to allocate 30 megahertz of spectrums in the 700 megahertz band for UHD. As a result, KBS got 2 nationwide UHD channels, KBS 1 and KBS 2. KBS 1 have been broadcasting 64 QAM modulation with 11.5 megabps bitrate for robust UHD. And KBS 2 UHD have 2 subframe, 7.1 and 7.2. 7.1 broadcasts 256 QAM modulations for UHD, 7.2 broadcasts 16 QAM 2.43 megabps bitrate for mobile TV. At phase 1, we covered Seoul metropolitan areas in May 2017. At the phase 2, we expanded the UHD coverage to 8 big cities in South Korea. At phase 3, will be expanded to national coverage that will cover 95% of households. In Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, KBS 1-2 UHD TV channels broadcasted 6,120 minutes in 4K UHD for various games. And we contracted with the Olympic Broadcasting Service and produced the 4K UHD HDR international signals for 41 calling games. We have learned many things from deploying UHD, but I would like to summarize a few things here. We have seen new TV technology and old regulations. And regulatory policy of the government is a similar way, the mandatory way. The United States, the voluntary market-based process, but South Korea it depends on the mandatory from the government. So we, public service media, need to more discussions for regulation issues with the government. And second, we have spending high cost in the beginning of these transitions for buying the equipment, storages, system integrations, and post-production time. So we could cope with the financial challenges. Meanwhile, there is a chicken-egg problems in the transitions. UHD TV is not useful without UHD content, right? But which come first? More UHD programs or the more UHD TV adoptions? Challenges for UHD. UHD is already on air, but we have a challenges to accelerate our work in 3 key areas. At production level, we must try maximize the quality for satisfying the audience expectations. At distribution levels, we must optimize delivery we have. For example, the free-to-airs, OTT, and hybrid TV and mobile TV. Maybe you guys have that kind of delivery systems to match the audience expectations. At market levels, we must maximize the connectivities for taking full advantage of opportunity offered by the new platform. Like it or not, UHD TVs are coming. The key point is that does the 4K UHD enhance the TV experience for our audience? Or is it another marketing tool designed to make you upgrade your TV again sooner than you wanted to? Which way? Why? Which way shall we go? I believe it depends on the public service media's strategies that we join first in new way and with even more ambition. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Cho. Our next speaker is Mr. Akihiko Chigono from NHK, and he will talk about their work in 4K and especially 8K.
안녕하십니까. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Akihiko Chigono from NHK. I'm the Chief of Engineering and responsible for overseeing NHK's technology department. At NHK, we refer to ultra-high definition television, or UHD, such as 4K and 8K, as super high vision. In this presentation, I'm going to talk to you about how super high vision will contribute to the public. In Japan, satellite broadcasting of super high vision will start on December 1st, with a little more than 1 month to go. This broadcasting will provide by 10 service providers, including NHK and commercial broadcasters. NHK plans to broadcast 8K programs for 12 hours or more per day. The greater future of super high vision is its high resolution. 4K has 8.3 megapixels, 8K has 33 megapixels. Supporting high dynamic range or HDR, it can also record video with large amounts of contrast. As super high vision now covers a wider range of colors, it enables diverse image reproduction as a synergy effect with HDR. Also, its 2.2 multi-channel sound produces the sense of being enveloped in sound and gives you an immersive experience in another world. Well, this year, NHK has established a 3-year corporate plan. It has 5 major objectives, of which I'd like to explain mainly continue to evolve as a public service media provider and look to the future. Let me start with our effort to continue to evolve. As a public media, NHK aims to offer viewers special emotions and experience using diverse content and cutting-edge technology. First, I'd like to have a look at the program that we are producing in 8K. Now, as I cannot play 8K video here, please note that this is 2K video. He made a mistake.
This is a cenote, a gateway to a mysterious subterranean world, a hidden frontier that is yet to be fully explored. This cenote leads to a world of countless winding passages, flooded with crystal clear spring water. It is the world's longest flooded cave system, with more than 10,000 miles of passages. Sealed off from any intrusion from the Earth's surface, these caves are a perfect time capsule. Life with an alien appearance. Eyeless, colorless organisms that have evolved to flourish in this pitch-black environment where nutrients are scarce. The halocline is the boundary where fresh and salt water meet.
The cave diving is very difficult diving. If you start up mud that has accumulated on the bottom of over millions of years, instantly you won't be able to see anything around you. So just to swim is a life-risking venture. Next, during the Pyeongchang Olympic Games in February, we conducted super high vision public viewings. Super high vision reproduced realistic video and sound in a very lifelike way. The audience was filled with excitement as if they were in Pyeongchang. To support this content production effort, NHK has prepared necessary equipment such as cameras, OB trucks, audios, studios, editing rooms, audio trucks, and broadcasting master system. As we prepare equipment, our technologies are making progress steadily. The technologies nurtured in super high vision development have been also applied to various fields beyond broadcasting. Now, looking to the future, NHK is going to develop new content and services in cooperation with our viewers and experts in various areas. Now, I'd like to explain how our technologies are used and will be used for content and services in various fields. The strong sense of presence and immersive sensation of super high vision being applied to a variety of fields such as VR, art, interactive content, and education. With its advantage of high resolution, it is also being applied to medical care and disaster prevention. Now I'd like to introduce an example which super high vision is helping disaster analysis. This is the moment of a volcanic eruption captured in super high vision. You can see how rocks were scattered and how high cinders were spewed up in great detail. In March, surgery was performed at the National Cancer Center Hospital using an endoscope that allows doctors to see precise images in 8K. 8K images can show details clearly, even when enlarged. Next, I will talk about how NHK will work on the upcoming Tokyo Olympic Games. NHK has declared that it will offer the highest level of broadcasting and services at the Tokyo Olympic and Paralympic Games held in 2020. This slide shows how broadcasting technologies have made progress. Broadcasting technology has made a major advance with every Olympic Games. This slide shows various types of 8K display. Shown at the bottom right of this slide is 130-inch 8K OLED television, which was jointly developed by NHK Science and Technology Research Laboratories and LG Display. Its thickness is only 2 millimeters. We are working to make it even thinner and lighter with the goal of achieving a rollable display in the future. To give a concrete shape to a seat-type rollable display, we made an 85-inch mock-up model, and I myself set up it at my house. This is the photo. I don't live in a luxurious house, but in just an ordinary house in Japan. But I felt that even 100-inch could be placed. We believe to record everlasting historic moments in high-definition video of super high vision is the greatest contribution we could make to the public. Thank you for listening. 감사합니다.
Thank you, Mr. Chigono. And now, Mr. Kim Jin-pil from LG Electronics, the makers of that soon-to-be 120-inch OLED.
It is the last speaking. Yes, my name is Jin-pil Kim from the Advanced Standard R&D Lab in LG Electronics. So my job is to make standard activity such as ATS 3.0. And another job is to prepare the commercial service, to make a commercial product such as UHD TV and something like that. So did you see some exhibition outside the conference room? I prepared my KBS brand. Okay, I will let's go my presentation. We have been talking about the ultra high definition 4K and 8K in Korea and Japan. As you know, Korea has successfully commercialized the terrestrial UHD TV service at the beginning of last year. And then, since then, we are preparing the advanced UHD TV service now. So everybody asked me, what is the advanced service? 4K UHD is not enough? Yes. So I will raise some issue today. Okay. So, what is the big change? What is the big change in broadcasting and video consumption? Yes. So, I will explain some new technology of the UHD standard in Korea, the name of the ATS 3.0. And then KBS and LG Electronics have a very good relationship to prepare the commercialized in the new technology very long time ago. So I will explain the commercialized trial service, and then I suggest the future work. Yes, terrestrial TV service. Terrestrial TV service goes to big screen and high resolution and IP hybrid, combine the OTT and OTA service on the multiple device and anytime, anywhere. At first time, the digital broadcasting service started 2000s as a HD TV in Korea by using ATS 1.0. And there have been the many different development according to the three big trends. And we are here, the 4K UHD. And we must check the future plan, such as what is the advanced technology for the UHD TV. It is the big change, first big change. As you know, a TV screen grows larger, and high resolution content is required, and more high quality content also required, such as HDR and high frame rate, something like that. Some broadcasts, BBC, like 2K HD and HDR combination, or high frame rate combination. So all kind of technology follow the cost and business efficiency. So broadcast should determine which combination is the best today. Next slide to show the OTT and hybrid service. We listened to the session 1. 5G technology is coming, so we should check the IP hybrid service combined. So broadcast and platform operator are now extend various OTT service through their app platform. So terrestrial broadcast should think what is the efficient combine to the OTT and OTA service, and should make a very user-friendly app service for user. The last one is now many people are consuming the broadcast content very freestyle, smartphone and the digital cockpit in vehicle. As you know, the electronic car and autonomous driving etc. is coming, so we can find the very possible good use case in the vehicle for the future. Yes, this picture is situation of the first digital broadcasting service, 2010. There is a TV age comprised ATSC in North America and Korea, and DVB in Europe, and TTMB in China, and last ISDBT standard in Japan and South America. And then, since then, DVB has made T2 technology available for HD transmission, and more countries have adopted T2. So you can see the light blue color is the country to select the DVB T2. And now UHD extra is coming, so almost the country looking for the new technology. I will show the some video clip, please.
Television broadcasters are leading the way with a new system that will merge the capabilities of over-the-air broadcasting with the internet. 2 decades ago, the Advanced Television Systems Committee celebrated the FCC's adoption of the first all-digital over-the-air TV standard. It offered pristine, high-definition video delivered in the same 6 megahertz channel once needed for black and white, and then color TV. Now broadcasters are evolving to meet the needs of today's viewers and advertisers. This next-generation broadcast platform merges the best capabilities of over-the-air and broadband viewing. The result is a convergence of the most popular method of watching live events with the variety of programming available online. ATSC 3.0 is designed from the ground up to be all of those things. A next-generation transmission system that can deliver 4K Ultra HD images with high dynamic range, plus interactive features and multi-channel immersive audio. ATSC 3.0 is the world's first broadcast standard built on an internet protocol backbone. This offers the advantage of both broadcast and broadband. Designed to integrate with internet-delivered content, ATSC 3.0 will present viewers with more streams, more choices, more channels, and more flexibility. The system takes advantage of new technology with advanced video and audio compression and more robust modulation. Responding to the needs of broadcasters, this new broadcast platform is exceptionally robust, adaptable for single-frequency network transmission systems that can overcome physical challenges to deliver TV deep inside buildings and on the go. The result is better indoor reception and wide coverage for mobile devices. ATSC 3.0's advanced emergency alerting is designed to wake up sleeping devices, alert families of impending emergencies, and provide a rich variety of video, text, audio, and graphic information when it's needed most. New audience measurement tools come with ATSC 3.0, and the new system can also be a pipeline for delivering data to the car, to mobile devices, and to the home. ATSC 3.0 is built for a variety of receiving devices too. New gateway receivers will deliver over-the-air TV to existing tablets and smart TVs through Wi-Fi. Mobile devices and TV sets equipped with ATSC 3.0 receivers will make TV available virtually anywhere. That's all great news for viewers, who will find it easier than ever to tune in to live TV broadcasts anywhere, anytime. For advertisers, ATSC 3.0's advanced advertising features include interactive and ad targeting capabilities in real time to the viewer. Best of all, ATSC 3.0 is designed from the ground up with a suite of standards that can be updated in the future. ATSC 3.0. A new broadcast platform that is flexible, adaptable, and focused on the future today.
Yes, did you see? Yes, ATSC was the launch as the world's first terrestrial UHD commercial service in Korea. So, Korea referenced the candidate standard version in US and 2016, and Korea we are very quickly complete the standard Korea's standardization by using ATS 3.0, and we are successful launching the commercial service. And then we are now preparing the advanced UHD service, the 3 kinds of that. The first one is UHD and HD mobile in the smartphone and vehicle. And another one is the IP hybrid service. Did you see the Kbs방송 service? Yes. Kbs방송 is the terrestrial IP portal service, combined the OTT and OTA service. And another one is the advanced emergency alert service. Emergency is a very big issue. It's public broadcaster. Yes. So LG and KBS have a very long relationship to make a new technology. So this is the first demonstration of the advanced ESG, electronic service guide in 4K UHD. KBS LG Electronic, which the best technology, is ahead of next generation broadcasting era. It is a title article of a newspaper in Korea. This is the advanced ESG menu. We implemented our OLED UHD TV, commercial TV. And this picture is very, I liked this picture. This picture is taken the live UHD TV service on LG OLED UHD TV. This is LG Twin headquarters building. And this one is the TV bar service. And this one is very big, very important HD mobile service. KBS and LG Electronic have a HD mobile broadcasting experiment, 4K UHD and HD mobile together in Seoul and capital area, and Jeju test bed also. So KBS can prepare the showcase in Pyeongchang Winter Olympic. So LG support the demodulator chipset to KBS. And then LG exhibit this HD mobile service on the autonomous driving shuttle in NAB. It is my last presentation, future work. Future work is my work, and KBS work. The first one is 4K and 8K, and mobile, IP hybrid, and advanced emergency alert service. I'm happy to work the KBS old friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Very good. So I want to start by thanking the KBS team for putting on this conference. I've done it. I know how hard it is, and you've worked incredibly hard, and you have a very good result to show for it. I'm very pleased to be a part of this session with my colleagues from NHK, from KBS, and LG. Together, they have played a worldwide leadership role in the rollout of UHD, really the development and the rollout of UHD, and we're all benefiting from all of your work, so thank you. In the US, we think of UHD as one component of ATSC 3.0, or what we refer to in a more commercial way as next generation television. And we're not as far along as Korea, but we're benefiting from all the work that Korea has been doing. And so we're in the planning stage right now. And I'm going to talk about three things for just a few minutes here. I'm going to talk about the strategic context for next generation TV in the US. I think everybody has made reference to it in some sense during this panel, and all of the panels before this today have really talked about the context in which we're looking at next gen TV. I want to talk particularly about potential public service applications of next gen TV. And I want to talk also about how next gen TV can align the broadcast space and the digital space, which really makes broadcasting continue to be a full participant in a modern media ecosystem as we go forward. Of course, as the theme of the context of the conference makes very clear, next-gen broadcast TV does not arrive in the same environment as DTV arrived 10 or 15 years ago. In the US, broadcasting itself is dominated by cable and satellite television, and about 80% of the audience is getting pay TV, and only about 20% is getting over-the-air free broadcasting today. By the way, that's actually up from a few years ago when it was only about 15% that were getting over the air. So there's some cord-cutting behavior that's going on, or what we call cord-never behavior, where there are people that are actually using OTA who were not using it before. Second, as has been made reference to many times today, the streaming revolution really encapsulated by Netflix, in the US by Hulu and many other companies is dramatically changing the landscape. Netflix is in something like 70% of households, and then Hulu on top of that and other services on top of that. And what we refer to as VMVPD services, virtual, I'm not even going to spell it out, but VMVPD services, or what most of the world would talk about as an IPTV service delivered over the open internet, have recently come into the US in fairly strong form in the brands of Sling TV, which comes from Dish, one of our satellite providers, DirecTV from another satellite provider, and perhaps most interestingly, YouTube TV, which comes from Google. The imminent release of 5G, we've heard multiple references to that, and we heard earlier today from Samsung about the imminent release of 5G. That's happening in the US, and while only a tiny number of people can get it today, it is already really shaking up the media landscape as we all try to plan for the future and think about 5G as a potential distribution mechanism for video. And generational change, which is the other big axis of change. Young people don't really think about broadcasting. They think about YouTube, or they think about Snapchat, or they think about Twitch. How many of you know what Twitch is? Anybody know what Twitch is? So Twitch is a service, I think it started in the US. I don't think it's in most of the rest of the world now. And it's a really cool streaming service if you're about 21 years old and a boy. It's a service where you can stream other people playing video games. So you get an HD feed of multiple people playing the same video game. And we're all, as public service broadcasters, scratching our heads and wondering what the heck this is. But Twitch was sold for well over $1 billion just a couple of years ago, and it's growing in leaps and bounds. By the way, ask me after the session about the experiment that PBS did with Twitch. It was kind of interesting. So that's our context. Oh, and also consolidation in the media industry in the US as people move around and things get bought up. So that's really complicated. And it leads to the most frequent question I get about next generation television, which is, why would we invest in over-the-air broadcasting when all of this other stuff is going on and is changing our world? And while PBS does not have a settled strategy on this yet, and we're still trying to figure out what to do, my goal today is to describe what I believe are the best reasons to consider going to next-gen broadcast television and why I think it's a key part of our overall media strategy. So why would anybody invest in broadcasting? Well, for the commercial broadcasters, it's absolutely clear. It's about money. That's what everything they do is about. So they're looking for targeted advertising and new kinds of business opportunities, many of which are centered around broadcast television, but some of which are also centered around how they can use spectrum in new ways that don't in fact relate to broadcasting. And when you look at public broadcasters, the answer is equally clear, because you already all know, if I ask you a question about what public broadcasters should do, the first thing we're going to ask ourselves is, how does this apply to our mission? How does this enhance our mission? How does this enhance public service? So I think there are two prime motivations for us. One is to continue the value of universal service over-the-air broadcast television for the public, both for everyone and particularly for the 20%, which is still a sizable audience that value over-the-air broadcasting and make use of it every day. And the second is because it allows us to realign our broadcast service and align it with our digital services so that what we end up with is really a continuous public media service where you get the value of that service no matter what platform you are on. This is what's going on in the US right now in the next-gen world. Both public and commercial broadcasters have trials running in 6 different cities. I'm not going to spend any time on that. But I would note one thing, which is that we are in the middle of what's called the big repack in the United States. So many of you are aware we had a spectrum auction a couple of years ago that moved spectrum from television band into the wireless band. And what that means is that as we move all the remaining television stations around, about 40% of them will be next-gen TV enabled within 3 years. They won't necessarily turn on next-gen TV right away, but their infrastructure will be enabled for next-gen TV. And the cool thing is it's all paid for by the mobile industry. always nice when they do something for us. This benefited them as well. So I'm going to take just a few minutes to describe just a couple of the benefits of NextGen TV that I think are most salient. And I want to take you through some scenarios that we use when we're trying to describe how to use NextGen television for public service broadcasting in the best possible way. The two main categories of benefits that we're looking for are, we start with richer content. If you're going to replace a broadcasting system or any media ecosystem, you want to have better pictures and better sound. And the other gentlemen have talked about what those capabilities are. But we certainly want to get all of the benefit we can get out of better pictures and better sound. And it turns out that some of the sound aspects of this turn out to be very interesting. And as I've already mentioned, aligning it to internet-based media. For me, it's the single most compelling aspect of NextGen TV. We're talking about interactivity within programs and around programs. We're talking about delivery of supplemental content that can ride along with a show, and personalization for the viewer, so that instead of delivering exactly the same experience to everybody, we can deliver something that's at least customized for some set of people. So let me take you through some of these scenarios. One concept we're discussing relates to the way in which NextGen TV could enhance our factual programming. Of course, documentaries and science content can benefit from vivid video, more detail, better audio. Our producers will get that right away. But enhanced audio could really be very interesting in this environment. One of the things about NextGen TV is that we can deliver far more different streams. So imagine different audio tracks in more languages, different audio tracks for different audiences. Imagine a director's commentary or all kinds of other things that can be done. My favorite example, and all of the countries that are represented here on the panel today are baseball countries. So, and the World Series started today. Go Red Sox, we won the first game. One of my wishes is that sometimes you're listening to a sporting event and the announcers are terrible, and you really wish there were different announcers. So what if we as broadcasters could offer different announcers or even knowledgeable fans as announcers? It could be really interesting, and that's one of the capabilities that we see. I don't know if that will actually come to pass, but a more concrete example, this past year, or actually a year and a half ago, PBS broadcast a documentary about the Vietnam War. This was an 18-hour brilliantly researched and brilliantly put together documentary. And we had an audio track for the documentary in Vietnamese, very appropriate for Vietnamese communities in the United States and in Vietnam. The problem is there's no way to deliver Vietnamese in over-the-air broadcasting in the United States. But if we had had ATSC3, we could have targeted a Vietnamese track to a Vietnamese audience. And you can imagine that with many different kinds of content. By the way, when we put the Vietnamese track online, it was streamed inside Vietnam more than 1 million times. So we're not talking about something that's speculatively useful. It's truly useful. We can imagine in a documentary enabling overlays with historical information, timelines, maps, other things like that, that members of the audience that might not understand a particular piece of history could get additional information. A second scenario is in an area that's very important to PBS, and that's children's programming. We generate a lot of broadcast content and a lot of interactive content for children, ages 3 to 8. We know that children of those ages are already watching content on digital devices and in broadcast. And we want to make sure that we give them engaging, high-quality content designed by educators to help them learn. In recent years, we've done some experiments, in fact, where we've had children watch a video that teaches a particular concept, and we've had other children watch the same video and also do an interactive exercise or play an interactive game, that's what the kids think, to help them retain that concept. And those studies have shown that when linear content and interactive content are combined, there's more retention and more power. With NextGen TV, we can actually provide that experience within broadcast. So children don't have to have a broadband connection at home to have both the linear video experience and the interactive experience. And one of the interesting characteristics of next-gen TV is that all of the interactivity is built using HTML5 and web technologies, which is to say, all of the work that we do today for the web can be ported into broadcast and used even in households that don't have internet connectivity. The last concept I'm going to take a moment on is the audience relationship. We have a funny thing in public broadcasting in the US. When I explain this to people at PBI, their eyes crinkle up and they get curious. We have to ask our audience for donations. So we only get about 15% of our money from the government. So we have to ask for money from individual donors based on content that they like. And in past years, the reward that they got was a good sense of self-satisfaction. And we would also send them a DVD or a tote bag or a calendar or something. 2 years ago, we launched in the digital domain something called Passport, where if you donate to your local television station, you get access to a streaming VOD library, much like we heard about from Taiwan. And when you donate, you get a very deep version of that library. And we found that that is very, very satisfying to our audience. And we have over 2 million people that donate each year and get that as a reward. The challenge is we're typically making the pitch about why you should donate in broadcast, but we deliver the reward only in digital. So one of the things we believe we can do with some of the conditional access capabilities and personalization capabilities of next-gen television is to make it so that when you donate, and it might even be a one-click donation through the broadcast, but when you donate, you get the benefit of that VOD library even if you're receiving your content over the air. A lot of concepts we're working on. Public safety was mentioned earlier. I'm not going to spend any time on it, but it's a particularly important part of our portfolio, and the capabilities in next-gen TV are very critical and very interesting to us. And so just to close, I think it's still, in the US, very early days of next-generation television. We're still in the planning process and the experimenting process. I do believe it's critically important to keep broadcasting moving forward, even in an era where much of the audience is moving to digital. We need to serve everybody. Universal service is a key part of what we do. And continuing to serve people in broadcast and moving broadcast forward to where it is aligned with digital and we can present a seamless experience across those things is important. And doing that in ways that are unique to the public service values of public broadcasters is what we plan to do and what we're thinking about these days. So with that, I'm going to turn to the panel for some questions, but you have to give me one moment to sit down. Okay, so our friends will keep time, but in the meantime, I want to start by asking Mr. Che from KBS. You spoke a lot about the rollout of HD, and you UHD, sorry, and you detailed a little bit of the challenges. What was the one biggest challenge that you've learned about in the first 6 months of rolling out UHD?
Actually, I would say it's money.
That's not a normal answer from a public broadcaster. We're never worried about money.
As it's been my biggest challenge, like all my life, it's money. Because we have 18 local stations, and we have the one headquarters, and almost 100 TV studios, and 30 the TV OB band. We have to transform the HD translator to the UHD translator about 300 transmitter sites. It is not easy. And also, unfortunately, Korea government decided to permit the newspaper and broadcasting ownerships in 2011. So after then, the 6 commercial channels came into the market. The KBS, they have the mixed funding system, license fee, 42%, and 25% in advertising sale, and the program sales. But after the competition, the more competition, the advertising sale is significantly decline. But we have to continue to invest in the UHD and as well as high quality productions. So it is not easy. And that is I think that is definitely the biggest problem for us.
Okay, money. That's we can all relate to that. Mr. Chigono, it was very interesting to see your description of 8K content, and certainly transmitting it is very challenging, and you're getting ready to do that starting later this year. But production must be very challenging as well. That piece of video from the caves was remarkable. Can you talk a little bit about NHK's activity in 8K production and what you've been doing?
Okay. Our 8K channel, NHK BS 8K, is our flagship channel to deliver the finest quality with the world's highest level of images and sound. On this channel, we will broadcast unique programs that can be offered only by 8K, such as content that creates a strong sense of presence at the stadium, concert hall, or live performance venue, and content that produces sense of immersion, like looking at the real artwork at the museum. In late March, we sent out our 8K OB track and 22.2 channel audio track to Europe, which would be used there for 1 year. In June, we used this 8K OB track to shoot the FIFA World Cup Russia in 8K. We delivered excitement to many people through 8K test broadcasting and public viewings. And at the same time, we accumulated know-how of live program production for large sporting events.
Very good. How many people in the room have seen one of the 8K demonstrations anywhere? If you have not, Hy-Vee to NAB or IBC or anywhere that NHK is showing a demo. It is remarkable, not just as a technological achievement, but the editorial capabilities are amazing. It really changes the way you view television.
Thank you very much.
Okay, question for Mr. Kim. So Korea and the US are ATSC countries, but almost everybody else in the audience here is a DVB country. DVB doesn't yet have 4K UHD. Can you comment a little bit about the prospects for UHD in the DVB world?
Okay. First of all, DVB T2 is possible to 4K UHD also by using a HEVC video. Yes. And another side, I would like to talk about some collaboration between the ATSC and DVB. ATSC and DVB has a very long relationship as a very good partner, sometimes as a competitor. So at the first time activity of the ATS 3.0, ATS referenced the technology of DVB T2 transmission technology, but now DVB side want to need a new technology to make a protocol stack over the IP on the mega content such as 4K and 8K also. So the name of this technology is the ABR, adaptive bitrate. So almost the technology and technical engineer and specialists attend the DVB meeting and to have a discussion to make next to ABR technology. It is a good collaboration. Thank you.
Look forward to UHD coming to all of your DVB countries coming soon. Get ready. So I'd like to ask a question of all of the panelists. We're largely technologists, so we don't tend to spend all of our time thinking about the strategic importance of the technology from a business sense. But that said, given this conference and given the subject, I think that's an important topic to discuss. So how do you think, in your experience and your situation, how does UHD television fit into a broader media strategy in an era where audiences are moving to new platforms to consume media? And if I could start with Mr. Chigono.
Yeah, in recent years, we are seeing remarkable progress of advanced technologies such as Internet, IoT, AI, and AR and VR. With the progress of these technologies, the way of enjoying content and viewing styles are also diversifying. We believe it is important to study the essential part of the diversification and create a future vision of a broadcasting service, while also continuing R&D to respond to these changes in media environment. In 2025, which is the 100th anniversary of start of broadcasting in Japan, and further in 2030 and 2040, we think 4K, 8K will be commonly used, and a new experience beyond current sense of presence will become possible by ultra-high resolution AR, VR, and 3D television technology. For example, you may be able to share the excitement of watching game at the sports stadium from home with a friend watching the screen in a different place. Or you may be able to travel with program cast members in a city you've never been to or enjoy to great outdoors. To achieve this, we believe the technologies of ultra-high definition video and 3D TV will play an even more important role. Therefore, we will continue to accelerate our research into these areas.
Thank you. Mr. Kim, can you give us some thoughts on ultra-high definition in the context of all of the other media change that's going on, all of the new platforms?
Yes. I'm sorry, I don't have any ideas because I have a perspective of TV manufacturer. But I think the way of Ultra HD is the mandatory service. So we should prepare this technology, but we need the time to enough, because the very urgent to adapt approaching is very dangerous, because they will have a very legacy program.
Very good.
Yeah.
Mr. Choi. Sure.
Yes, I think that it's a big questions, because there's so many different perspectives. Some guys look at that at economic perspective. Some guys look at that on the technology perspective. In my opinion, most of the new technology aim to two directions. One thing is the quality, and the other thing is convenience. We talk about lots of things, two directions. But I believe the UHD TVs will improve the quality and convenience simultaneously. But our audience could have lots of chance for using another new service, or that they already use them. But as a result, it's the typical churning problems. You know? Okay. Yes. Is that a broader strategies? We must consider dynamics among the three factors. The one thing is the consumer loyalty that the people's already ascribed. And second thing is the attractiveness of UHD TV. And And third thing is the switching cost. So that is the complicated affected each others. So, for example, the Netflix is a really a big share in United States, but in South Korea it's not. That's why the price. The pay TV, the price of pay TV in United States is almost 80 US dollars, but in South Korea, the price is just $10 in for the pay TVs. The people why to change their platform from this they use to Netflix. They are just watching. There is a huge switching cost for the between the two platforms. That's my opinion.
All right.
Excuse me. How about your opinion?
Well, you heard a little bit of my opinion, right? My opinion is, and I think you're right. I mean, in the U.S., there's a very high cost to traditional pay TV, and so the alternatives look very good and very cheap to people. Actually, the alternatives are very good and very cheap to people. If we think about time spent with media as relaxing time or entertaining time, $10 a month for Netflix is a heck of a lot cheaper than, you said, $80. Typical American cable bill is $100, $150, $200. It depends, but it's very expensive. So something that either supplements or displaces that for a very low cost is quite easy. But I think that it has to be a both-and strategy, right? You have to, we can't, certainly as public broadcasters, we can't abandon over-the-air broadcasting because that's how we reach most of our audience. And at the same time, has been very clear from all of the other panels today, and by the way, at PBI last year as well, we're in a situation where you can't use broadcasting to reach a 25-year-old person, or in most cases in the United States, a 30 or 35-year-old person. That's not how they operate. So getting back to I'm trying to remember the comment somebody made earlier, I wrote it down, but I don't remember who said it, about the ABCD strategy of always starting from audience is a very powerful notion. And so we have to go where the audience is. Broadcasting will be part of that, but everything else will be part of it too. And I'm excited about what we'll be able to do in ultra-high definition to serve people. If we might have time for one question from the audience if anybody has a question, but otherwise I think we're at time. Anybody have a burning question? You mostly want to get to dinner. All right, thank you all for your time, and thank our panel for the time. And I think this concludes the session for today. We'll see you all at dinner, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning.
Okay, so this is the end of today's session. I hope you had a wonderful time. Before you go, please make sure the